Digital signatures. Whew. Andy, what is the analog equivalent of a digital signature?
Is it an analog signature?
No. That was low-hanging fruit. Come on now. Analog? Handwriting, right? It's a written signature. It's a written signature. It's supposed to, a digital signature is supposed to simulate the validity of a handwritten signature. It's supposed to offer all of the same aspects of security that were offered by the asymmetric ciphers. How do we do that? We take a hash of the message and then encrypt the hash. Again, we talked about encrypted hashes. Public and private key, we're using the key pair. Again, we've talked about that in asymmetric. Why we got date and time? Why do we have date and time in the digital signature?
Freshness.
Freshness. I'm not familiar with the term. Why? What does that mean?
Tells you like how old the signature is and when it was signed.
Good. Why is that important? Why do we care?
For different reasons.
Okay. Give me one. Why do you put the date on a contract when you're signing it?
To know when it's effective.
Good. Excellent. Excellent, right? If we're going to use these things as valid as our handwriting signature, we have to know when those things were signed, to know when you came into accord on that, right? Why else? Why else do they need to be dated? Do certificates last forever?
No.
No. Why not?
Because they have expiration dates.
Why?
So you buy a new one.
Okay. As job security for the certification authority, right? Why else? Why else do we expire them?
Longer you have it, the greater chance it is to break it.
To compromise.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it gives more opportunity to crack it. Why else would you revoke a certificate?
It's compromised.
If it's been compromised, if you know that it's been compromised, if the person is no longer a member of your organization, they don't have authorization to have the certificate associated with them, right? You might want to have it expire so that you have management of those certificates. So we include the date and time on our digital signature so that we can compare it against the certificate revocation list, right? If it was issued after that certificate's already been revoked, we know it's not a good signature. Good. And all those other reasons that I forced Gregory to give us. Thank you, sir. That was well done. Do we have non-repudiation with that? Yes. If that is your signature, we get to prove that is you. If it's dependent on the original message, does that mean we can extract the data from the message? Are we able to extrapolate it? And if we decipher the signature, can we get the data itself?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Probably not, actually. It's probably a lot smaller, and it's probably more of a one-way function, right? Good. Good. What information unique to the sender is in a digital signature to give us assurance that it is that person? What do they have that nobody else has?
Private key.
Private key. Private key. Good. Good. Is it easy to do that? Yeah, absolutely. They're usually very simple and straightforward. A lot of them plug directly into email functions. Hard to forge one right now. Difficult to forge one right now. And getting a copy of it is fairly straightforward. Brent? Oh, okay. Good. NIST has a standard for that, 186-2. Talks about good algorithms for doing that. Ones we've talked about already are very useful. Gregory, at the break, mentioned something that I think is significant. When we compared asymmetric to symmetric strengths and lengths, we saw such a great disparity between asymmetric and symmetric. Elliptics, the elliptic algorithm, tell me if I'm getting this wrong, is as comparable in strength against the other algorithms as asymmetric was to symmetric. So this is really the one that we want to be using, right?
Yes.
Cool. Good. Uses. A lot in financial transactions. It allows us to send contracts through email, to scan things, to sign them electronically, virtually. Enables financial transactions. Anybody remember that one of the first states to accept them for state-recognized documentation? Utah, I think, was the first. Oddly enough, they were pioneers out on the leading edge. Good, and you can use them to sign your digital certificates, which we're going to get to in a while. All right, can you read my beautiful, wonderful art from there? You see it? Is it all right? All right. We take the plain text. We're going to hash it. This right here, what kind of function is this? Andy?
One way.
One way. Good. We cannot recover the plain text from the digest, can we? We take the hash and we combine it with the private key of the sender, put that together, and send them together over to the recipient. Recipient's using whose public key? Their own? No. No, senders. Senders, right? Verifies authenticity, gives you the non-repudiation right there. Also, at the same time, they're running it through the hash algorithm. Are they trying to recover the message here, the plain text? No, because you can't, right? Instead, what they're getting is that hash value out of here and comparing the two. Wait a second. What's wrong here?
You have message pictures instead of hash value pictures.
Yeah, this is showing the plain text instead of the hash value, right? It should be that. And what's the other problem? What are we hashing here, and what are we hashing here? Are they the same?
That one's bent more.
Okay, there's a greater angle, right? What else? What else is the problem here? Here we're hashing just the plain text of the message. What are we hashing here? The plain text and the signature, right?
It looks like they're separated.
Would it return a different hash value?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. It's got the avalanche effect, doesn't it? Everybody get why that wouldn't work?